We've got another Optic to review. Hey guys, how's it going? Now, some of you may be new to my review series, but most of them usually revolve around a brand called Feyachi. Now, they're an Amazon optics, accessories, all the sorts kind of retailer that occasionally likes to reach out to airsofters to get them to review their products. I'm one of their repeat customers in that regard. So what I've got for you guys today is the RDS-25. This is a T1 styled optic, obviously from Feyachi, comes with a riser mount, and full disclosure, they did send me this for review, so I did not buy this, I did not pay for it, but just because they sent it my way does not mean that they have any sort of editorial control over this video. These are my opinions, they don't have any say over it, they don't see it until it's public. They just sent me the optic, and all they wanted me to add as an addition to this is that they have an Amazon Prime Day sale going on. I'm gonna have a graphic somewhere on the screen that they sent over, just showing off some of the things that they are going to be putting up for an additional sale. That some of these things I have, some of these things I've reviewed for them, some of these things I've even purchased myself after the fact, completely unrelated to a review. I like their stuff, especially for Airsoft, so if you're looking for something that's on the cheaper side that still looks pretty nice, this is gonna be a good opportunity for you guys. But before we go any further, if you have not checked out my most recent video prior to this one, I went to Operation Clawhammer 4 at Harris Farms Airsoft in Maine, and it is an event held by Stag Ops, so they are a local New England milsim organizer, and I had a blast. And that video is just an hour and 40-ish minutes of just straight unedited gameplay, so anyone that's looking to get into the local milsim scene can really get what the day-to-day could potentially be like. Links to that video are in the description, as well as a link to this product, so if you like it, that's where you can go get it, and let's just get back to this video before I fumble over my words even more. Getting into the nitty-gritty of this site, I'm just going to quickly go over everything you get in the box, and we will transition from there. So, you get the optic, the riser mount, you get the cover, the lens covers, you get 2 backup screws for the riser itself, you get 2 Allen keys because the riser and the mount itself have 2 different sizes, you get 2 2032 batteries, none come in the optic. I know some Feyachi products, they come with a battery in, some come with a backup battery after that, some don't. This one comes with 2 batteries and nothing inside of it, and then you get a cleaning cloth, because of course you do. One little nitpick that I do want to put in right here is that I do wish that they stopped using hex screws. It's a personal pet peeve of mine. I personally do not like hex screws. They strip way too easily, and you can't really trust any hex key to screw to actually mesh well, especially if you're using an Allen key of your own and you're disregarding the hex keys that are coming with your product. Sometimes the hardness on one doesn't match the other, it strips really easily, and then you're shit out of luck, which I get is why they added in the bonus 2 screws, but I think that could honestly all be avoided if they just went with Torx screws over hex. I believe I remember some of their products already come with Torx screws, so it just seems to me that it's a missed opportunity to still be using hex screws on some products when Torx screws are just so objectively better in every single way, as in terms of locking, how tight you can go, stripping. Torx screws do not strip nearly as often as hex screws do. It's really bad, especially with products that are primarily sold on Amazon. There's a lot of distrust in the quality, the metallurgy, things like that. And if you're going with Torx screws right out of the gate, you're gonna get a lot more customer just trust, basically. They're not gonna be hesitant to, if I overscrew this one thing, I'm gonna be shit out of luck if I ever try to get this out. That hasn't been the case that I've seen in my use of the Feyachi products, to be completely honest. It's just, I don't like hex screws. I much prefer Torx for the reason of stripping specifically. So I would just personally like to see them use Torx screws more. If you're not someone that's too worried about it, especially where I'm saying right now, in my experience, I have not had a Feyachi product's hex screw strip on me. Disregard that whole negative side tangent then. Now, looking at the anatomy of the sight itself, you have windage and elevation adjustments for your dot. You have an 11-point brightness setting, so off 1 through 11, then for red dot brightness. You have, obviously, as I said before, you have a high-rise mount, and then the actual sight itself has its own mount, so a low-rise mount if you wanted to just do that. I know that kind of look, as far as airsofters go, looks really good on M14s. I really like the low-rise mount on that. But I think most of us are going to be trying to cop that T1-Style look with the high-rise mount that comes with it. Honestly, I don't see a reason in Airsoft not to, especially where in Airsoft, where most of us are probably going to be using this product, most mesh masks or masks in general are range from fairly limiting to very limiting in terms of cheek weld and how you aim down sights, how much you can actually get. So a lot of instances, especially for newer players who are looking for more on the budget-friendly side where Feyachi comes in, they're going to probably want that high-rise mount. Like they're going to want to use that because it'll maximize their effectiveness on the field, especially where most newer players are running like paintball masks and things like that. In the box, along with the sight, you also get a very in-depth manual that covers everything you need to know about setting it up, and specifics about the specs. Anything from weight, the supposed MOA on this site, to basically anything you need to know, or if you need to get in contact with the company about their products, it's here, which I think is honestly fantastic, because a lot of Amazon manufacturers, especially when it comes to optics, accessories, things like that, they usually provide a very limited manual that just gives you the bare essentials. And I know a lot of people outside of the whole optics and accessory sort of market, a lot of Amazon products come with very bare bones and limiting manuals. So seeing something that in-depth and that detail-oriented is really nice to see. But I think we've gotten far enough into this video where it's time to put this on a gun or two. So let's jump into that. So here is my VFC 416 build that, if you can see, has the RS-25, which, not to be confused with the RDS-25, is a completely different styled optic. Still looks good. Matches up to their M37 Magnifier pretty well, but that's not what we are here for. Is it, Scout? She's asleep. So now that we have the RDS-25 mounted, it's pretty clear to see that it does not line up too well with the M37, which means it's also not going to line up well with Feyachi's M36 Magnifier. But one thing I do want to mention is that although it doesn't line up perfectly, it still lines up well enough where you can technically use it. So if I turn it on, actually let's go the other way, and I try to get a good sight line down here. I don't know how well it's gonna do with my camera focus, but you can still use it. You can see the dot. You just don't get the full sight picture that you would with an optic in front of this magnifier that does line up perfectly. So as you can see, the bottom's cut off a little bit because the RDS-25 sits a little higher up. But honestly, if you wanted to use it, you could. I'd just suggest using something else. One thing that they did mention in the manual is that this riser right here is supposedly going to give you a 1/3 co-witness with most iron sights. So I'm going to put this onto a different gun and we're going to test that. So sticking with the VFC theme, what I have in front of you guys is my VFC Scar L. This is also what I used at Operation Clawhammer 4 in that last video I referenced. So if you want to see this baby in action, go watch that. But without further ado, let's swap them. There we go. All right, so obviously it's a little hard to see with just a camera angle, but I do think it does achieve that 1/3 co-witness. So if I try to focus on the back here, like it's still like the lower third is what's primarily being used, but if I focus back out, can see the sights are lined up and the red dot is right above where those iron sights are lining up. So if I were to actually sight this thing in, it might be pretty damn close. And honestly, if you are looking for something that you wanted to be able to use irons with as well, this might be a good option for you. All right, now I do want to move over to complaint number 2 about this item. It's on right now. I know you can't see that, but it's on. So let's go to 2. Oh, now you can kind of see it. Let's go back to 1. All right, it's barely visible. This is just indoors with some light coming in from the outside. Personally, I don't think that there's a usable brightness until you hit 4 or 5. And where most airsofters are going to be playing either indoors in CQB, 5's fine. But if you're playing outdoors, like just going up to 11 or 10, 9, 8, one of those higher numbers, that's going to present a lot better. Especially like now that I'm looking up here, like those in lighter situations, the higher numbers are going to be your friend. Seriously. I do think 1, 2, and 3 are all a little bit too dim, in my opinion. I do appreciate that they have that wide range of adjustability, but I think they might have gone a little too dim there with how low it could go. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I do kind of dig this look. I'm not 100% sold on it just yet, but I do kind of dig it. One thing I will also note is that the riser puts it at the perfect height for easy sight acquisition for me. This is just me personally with how I aim with this, with my SCAR in particular, but it lines up so well. I'm sure that's not a hard thing to accomplish. I'm sure it was very specific. They had a certain height in mind because that's what most people are good with, but I will say it's another bonus. It's another bonus. I can get the sight picture really easy. No, like there will never be an issue with me if I was to run this, which honestly, I think I might. So what are my final thoughts on the Feyachi RDS-25? Well, honestly, I think you could get a lot worse for around the same money, and if you're trying to cheap out, this is probably one of the cheaper options you want to go with before you start dipping into the, it could be really bad, poor, crap quality. I know we've all seen those repro sites that stores will sell that are just really low quality stuff. You really are better off just not even having it in the first place. I don't think these are that. I think these are built really well, and for Airsoft specifically, could be used very effectively, especially with the adjustability and the range of brightness settings that you can get with them. And where they're currently selling on Amazon for $36, I think they're not a bad price if you're trying to get something that's built well but doesn't break the bank. And if you think that I'm just conflating their ego, just really gaslighting everyone else into thinking they're good products, then they've got almost 5,000 reviews on this product alone, so just sift through the reviews and see if it's actually something you want to buy. I'll have the link to this product and Feyachi's full store page in the description, so you're more than welcome to go check it out for yourself. Hey Scout, anything you want to say to the audience before we head out? I'm gonna go with, no. Alright. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the review of this product. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe for more. This is YouTube, this ain't Instagram. Do the things in below. Thank you for watching. Outro.